In this video, we're going to be going through the top 3 cybersecurity certifications, and as you can tell on screen, there are loads of them out there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the top 3 from my experience and give you exactly what you need to do for where you are in your career. The top 3 that we're going to be talking about is CompTIA Security Plus, Hack the Box CDSA, and Blue Team Level 1. Everything will be timestamped down below, so if you're already familiar with one, feel free to skip ahead. But we'll be starting off with CompTIA Security Plus. So to give you some background info on who CompTIA actually are, CompTIA are one of the world's leading IT trade associations with worldwide recognition. They've been around for a long time and they're a leader in vendor neutral certifications. And what that means is they don't focus on one system in particular, it's about general knowledge across all systems. The Security Plus credential is part of CompTIA's core certification portfolio, which includes IT Fundamentals, A+, Network Plus, and of course Security Plus. The Security Plus certification is one of their most popular one, which we'll talk about shortly. However, the others are considered more foundational before Security Plus, but not absolute requirements if you're planning on going for Security Plus. So what exactly is Security Plus? If you haven't gathered already, it focuses on cybersecurity, and you can think of it more of a security focused version of the Network Plus certification. So you may or may not have that already. It's basically just a more security focused one rather than networking knowledge in general. And it's widely considered to be one of the best introductions into cybersecurity. So you'll have definitely heard of the name floating around. So why is it considered one of the best, and what does the exam exactly involve? Well, the length of the exam is 90 minutes long, which is pretty standard for cybersecurity certifications. Some will be shorter, some will be longer, but this is around the average. You'll get around 90 questions within the exam, and it's all multiple choice performance-based questions, which again is pretty normal for cybersecurity questions. If you're not familiar with it, they're just basically exam items that are designed to test your ability to solve problems that are in real-world settings. Then the passing score is 750, so that's out of 900, and the last refresh for this was November 7th, 2023. So CompTIA actually refresh their exams every couple of years, which is why you always have a last refresh date as you're working with the latest and best industry-based questions, so you know you're not looking at something from 10 years ago. And the testing provider is Pearson VUE. So you can look at where your closest one is to see exactly where you would sit the exam. So what's exactly involved in terms of topics in the exam? Well, we've got a breakdown of module and its weighting. The first one we have is general security concepts, which is weighted at 12%. So this includes a various type of security controls, fundamental security concepts, and the importance of change management processes and the use of cryptographic solutions. So it's quite a general gist of all these types of ideas. The next one we have is quite heavily weighted at 22%, which is threats, vulnerabilities, and mitigations. This is really where that security element starts to come in. So this will include things like threat actors and their motivations, threat vectors, attack surfaces, types of vulnerabilities, all things like that, and how you can mitigate them and their indicators of malicious activity. The next one we have is at 18%, which is security architecture. So that includes security implications of different architecture models, concepts, and strategies, all done to protect data. After this, we have another high weighted topic, which is security operations at 28%. Now, this one includes security techniques, security alerting and monitoring concepts and tools, vulnerability management activities, security implications, and proper hardware, software, and data asset management. So you can see there's a whole mixture of security operations in there, and you learn all sorts of ideas and situations, especially around incident response activities. The final one we then have is security program management and oversight, and that sits at 20%. So this will include elements of effective security governance and the risk management process. So you can see you really do get an oversight of everything within security, which is why it's one of the most popular security exams out there for cybersecurity. Now you might be thinking that's a lot for a beginner who doesn't have any previous knowledge in cybersecurity or IT in general, which is where platforms like Brilliant come in. Now, Brilliant is today's sponsor of the video, and they basically a platform that make learning feel easy without dumbing anything down. And instead of watching someone talk for 20 minutes hoping that it sticks, you actually are allowed to get involved, solve real problems, and poke at ideas to see how the logic actually works. And the activity style isn't just more fun, it's genuinely how your brain builds and put things together. And they cover all sorts of topics, especially things like Python courses, which are really important for cybersecurity. And it doesn't just drop you into a wall of syntax, it actually guides you step by step, showing you what you're getting correct and help you build patterns. And Python ends up creeping into anything in cybersecurity. So if you want to give it a go, you can try Brilliant for free by heading to brilliant.org/iMentor or by scanning the QR code on screen. The link will also be in the description below. Because they've kindly given us 20% off an annual premium subscription, which gives you unlimited access to everything on the platform. The next course we have is Certified Blue Team Level 1. This is one of my favorites out of the three. So Security Blue Team, as a bit of background, is a UK-based cybersecurity training and certification provider that's dedicated to the side of defense of security. So this includes security operations, incident response, threat intelligence, forensics, phishing analysis, and there's loads and loads more. Their courses and certifications are designed to be practical and lab driven, which is what we like on this channel. We don't like just reading and reading off PowerPoints. So this is definitely one that you can get stuck into. So what's involved in Blue Team Level 1? Let's start with the exam format. So the time to complete is they estimate around 30 hours of on-demand material for the course and for typical candidates. So you can expect for around that. Whether you take it slower, it will obviously be longer, or if you're a lot faster, you can do it within quicker than 30 hours. And you get around 4 months access to the on-demand material, so you can take your time. It's not something you need to complete within 1 month. And the prerequisites, essentially none. Formally, they say that nothing is required before you take the exam. However, some experience will obviously help you out there. And the exam format itself, it's a practical time-limited 24-hour incident response style lab exam. So it really gives you that experience of being, as an example, a SOC analyst. And you must complete a scenario, use tools, analyze artifacts, and answer questions. So there's a real mix of everything that you need to do. And the passing threshold is 70% to pass the exam, which is pretty standard across certifications, and you are certified for life. There is no requirement to renew the certificate every 3 to 4 years like other certification bodies. It's one you'll hold for life once you pass it, and you will receive a digital PDF certificate that you can print if you need. And you will receive also a challenge coin, which is a physical coin, which will be silver if you score a specific score, and I think gold is around 90%. First try. So what actually makes this certification stand out, and why is it one of my favorites? Well, it's entirely defensive focused and it's practical from day one. Like I said, we really like practical exams as it gives you a real indicator to what you'll be doing within the job. And it's really affordable compared to other big training vendors. And you can see on the screen now exactly what's involved. There is a mixture of different topics and techniques that you'll be learning. As for example, let's look at one of the course content. So phishing analysis. There is 73 topics, 2 videos, 7 quizzes, and most importantly, 4 labs. And within that, you'll be learning different types of phishing, so phishing emails, tactics and techniques used, analyzing artifacts, taking defensive actions, and report writing. So really good topics as a beginner getting into cybersecurity or wanting to learn those defensive ideas and situations for cybersecurity. They even have one on security information and event monitoring, which is a really important concept for a SOC analyst or someone getting into cybersecurity. So I definitely recommend that you check this one out. Next up, and the final one that we have, is Hack the Box's CDSA certification. Now, for context, if you're not familiar with Hack the Box, they are one of the biggest hands-on cybersecurity training platforms in the world, built around realistic labs, capture the flag challenges, and full attack and defense environments. So if you're not familiar with them, their link will be down in the description, and you can have a look to see what else they offer. But as we are for this video, focusing on the CDSA certification, so let's have a look at exactly what's involved. Now, this one, compared to the first two, is somewhat more advanced than a pure beginner. However, if you have some experience, then it does welcome people new to the defense side. and it expects a little bit of familiarity with certain fundamentals like networking or logs or maybe Windows to really make the most of it. But I don't want to let that put you off. Have a look and see exactly what's involved. So the path that we're focusing on today focuses on 15 modules. And within that, we have topics like incident handling, SIEM monitoring fundamentals, Windows event logs and sysmon, threat hunting, Splunk, network traffic analysis, malware analysis, digital forensics, and I could go on for days and days. There is a lot of content within it. And looking at the exam structure in particular, the exam is a 7-day long practical assessment where you'll investigate 2 incidents and submit a full report. So similar to the blue team level 1 where you do a hands-on instant investigation. And this is what I really like about these types of exams because it gives you real world tools. Like I mentioned already, Splunk, ELK, Wireshark, etc. These are tools you'll be using in the job. So it's really good if you use them whilst you're learning so that you have familiarity with them and you can talk about them in interviews. And you'll actually be looking at real logs and conducting investigations rather than just learning theoretical knowledge. It's really good if you can get hands on and get stuck into it, as it's easier then to talk about when you're doing interviews and use when you're doing the job. So I really recommend that you do look at this one. All the 3 certifications that I've mentioned today are really popular and they are all newly refreshed and have up-to-date content. If you've enjoyed this video, do leave a like and a comment down below, and remember to check out Brilliant as they have a really good learning platform where you can get stuck in and learn lots of material for cybersecurity.